Hi guys, it's Paul from All Game Reviews, and it's been a while, but we're back with a full review, and this time it's for a game that I've been dying to play for ages, and that's Hunt Showdown. First thing I want to say about this game is that there's a lot to it. I played about 15 hours, but really there's people with game time of over 200 hours. This is just one of those games you really need to keep playing, and there's just layers to it.
Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
So people might love this game, this might be the only game that they play, but this is just my initial impressions as a new player. Is it worth it for people that are maybe thinking of getting into it? So what is it? Hunt Showdown is one of those near AAA games that fans passionately recommend. And maybe like me, you've kind of heard of it, you've seen some people playing it, like maybe Jack Frags or Dr. Disrespect. But since it's been out for a couple of years, you kind of know that you've missed it and you've been waiting to get into it. I've read multiple reviews with 200 plus played hours on Steam, and I've watched many live streams, and the game seems pretty tactical and has quite a high learning curve. But it's pretty clear that this game still has a dedicated fan base loyal 3 years post release, with almost 30,000 daily players, so there must be something interesting going on down in the bayou. The game was originally released in February 2018 by developer Crytek, who you might know from the Crysis series, and as you can imagine, the graphics are pretty insane. It's available on PlayStation, Xbox and PC. It usually retails for around $40, but right now it's 50% off, and it's pretty common to be on sale. The premise of the game is that it's set in late 19th century Louisiana, with foggy swamps, ruined forts and abandoned towns. You play as a hunter, either solo or in a team of 2 or 3, tasked with tracking and eliminating monsters terrorising the area. Using your dark sight, you can identify clues, determine the location of your target, and if you manage to kill the bounty before the other players, they'll be alerted to your presence and the race will be on to take you down to claim your prize for themselves before you can escape. The team with the bounty must reach an extraction zone and begin the showdown to successfully escape. The game has no single player mode and it's entirely multiplayer. The gameplay is similar to the likes of Escape from Tarkov or Rainbow Six Siege. It's a first person shooter that could be challenging to get started without a friend or an experienced player guiding you. Fortunately, there's some tutorials, basic, intermediate and advanced, to complete before you jump into the main game. Hunt kind of feels like a battle royale adjacent game. There's no storm or gas closing in on players, but there are multiple teams running around the map fighting to come out on top. Bounty Hunt is the main game mode and features PvP VE, with players having to fight monsters, bosses and themselves all at once. There are 3 maps to try out and 4 bosses to hunt, bounty contracts for 1 or 2 appearing per match. Each boss has a unique design and set of strengths and weaknesses. For example, the pig mask wearing butcher deals fire damage but is weak to weapons that induce bleeding such as blades or crossbows. These matches can last a maximum of 1 hour. Players recruit a roster of characters and purchase equipment between matches, however die and these will all be lost. As well as purchasing equipment in the store, items can be found in the game and crates around the map, including new guns, melee weapons, throwables and medkits. The quick play mode is much shorter and is Hunt's answer to the Battle Royale, with 12 players fighting to be the last hunter standing. No equipment is prepared beforehand, instead players must search the map for gear to use against their enemies. The objective is to survive whilst also locating multiple rifts using Darksight, which can be closed for a reward. Again, die and you'll lose your character forever. I think the biggest misconception I had with this game was that the grotesque bosses would be the star of the show. However, its uniqueness is found in the PvP battles and the environment. The permadeath mechanic makes encounters with other players extremely tense, with stealth and tactical gunfights more common than the usual run and gun techniques in other games. You both know what's at stake, your beloved character and loadout, which you may spend hours, days or even weeks building, and it's down to you and your teammates to use all that you have available to you to outgun and outsmart your opponents. It's not uncommon for new players to be exploring the map and suddenly drop dead as they're picked off using a headshot from an experienced player hiding with a scoped rifle. It will take some time and error to figure out what works and how to avoid making yourself an easy target. Try watching some tutorials or matchmaking in hopes of teaming up with an experienced player, and when doing the latter, make sure to use a mic and take notice of their actions. You'll pick up on minor details like only using melee weapons and grunt enemies to avoid attraction from gunshots. Sound plays a major part in this game. You'll be spooked by a flock of crows or distracted by a decoy thrown by a cunning player. I can't think of another multiplayer title with audio design this good. And bonus points for the incredibly catchy menu music. There's a variety of period style weapons to try out in Hunt Showdown, including dual revolvers, pistols, rifles and shotguns, as well as melee items like axes and machetes. Some have multiple variants with different attachments and stats. You can buy these with Hunt dollars, the in-game currency. Increasing your bloodline's rank will unlock new traits, Hunt's version of perks, which provide passive buffs such as increased fire resistance or improved reload times. Win matches and the traits on your character will begin to stack. Die and you'll need to start from scratch. There is an in-game store, which is commonplace among free-to-play shooters these days, where premium currency blood bonds can be used to buy skins and a few legendary hunters, although the majority of these are only available through paid DLC. Some may be put off by this considering they've already forked out for the full game, however blood bonds can be earned in-game through challenges and accolades, albeit at a pretty slow rate. 1,000 blood bonds would cost you about $10 and you could use this to buy 2 legendary hunters like Sheriff Hardin and Carcass Gunrunner. These skins are purely cosmetic, so don't worry about a pay to win scenario. It's a great way for fans to support the developers and most are happy to do so. So what's the final verdict in Hunt Showdown? It's a truly unique experience. Learning the core gameplay will take hours and mastery much longer. The challenge to reward ratio is high. You'll have to use sound teamwork in the environment to outplay your opponents, with the potential to loot a rare weapon from your enemy to keep for future hunts. Conversely, slip up and you may lose your valuable hunter along with any and all equipment. Crytek's title is not just another Battle Royale-esque game. It might not be for everyone with its steep learning curve and lack of single player options. A PvE mode with friends would be a must play, but its atmosphere is unmatched. If I had to score it, I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10. Implementation of a solo or co-op mode would push this even higher.